Previous class, we had completed the first paragraph on the slide. Now let's start with the second one. It is from these comrades in the struggle that I learned the meaning of courage. Comrades means friends. Now friends here means those friends who had joined with him to fight the struggle for apartheid, and also those people, the heroes who had been fighting it for a long time. And this is from them that he had learned the meaning of courage. And again, I have seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. Here, Nelson Mandela is referring to those men and women of the past who had, given up their lives to fight for a cause. I have seen men stand up to attacks and torture without breaking, showing a strength and resilience that defies the imagination. The word resilience means the ability to withstand any kind of torture or suffering and then also to recover from it easily. Nelson Mandela is talking about those men and women whom he had seen gone through extreme pain and suffering but had come out of it victorious. And it is this resilience of theirs that can defy someone's imagination. It is unimaginable that man can go through such extremities but yet have a hope to children. This is why the lesson is extremely meaningful and important to all of you, because Nelson Mandela's A Walk to Freedom is indirectly a message or a lesson that we need to learn from what he had gone through. And this is going to be a first-hand experience that one can have from Nelson Mandela, that any kind of problem, any kind of situation, one needs to come out of it strong and need not look back after coming out of it. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. According to Nelson Mandela, courage does not mean to be totally fearless, but to overcome it. A brave man is one who feels afraid, but at the same time can conquer that fear or conquer that feeling of being afraid. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love, for love comes more naturally to human heart than its opposite. Here, Nelson Mandela clearly states the fact that man does not learn to hate one another from his birth. So he learns to hate people. Just like he learns to hate people, he should also be taught how to love, because love comes more naturally than hatred. Even in the grimmest times in prison, when my comrades and I were pushed to our limits, grimmest means toughest, and pushed to our limits means pushed to an extreme point of tolerance when it becomes unbearable. Nelson Mandela and his friends used to lose their calm and patience at times, no doubt in those dull and grim prison cells. However, at times they used to have a glimmer of hope when they see one of the guards being nice to them. So this is again talking about that humanity is alive. It lay hidden at times, but the goodness of man is just like a flame that can be hidden, no doubt, but can never be extinguished. So the love and goodness can still be there underneath lying, but then it takes time, and it at times it shows up. So this is why they had faith and hope. Now you can see some questions here. Try to write them down in your notebook and try to be very precise and to the point while writing the answers. Let's go on to the next part. In life, Every man has twin obligations. Obligations means duties. Now, what are these twin obligations Nelson Mandela is talking about? His obligations or duties towards his family, and number two, his obligation or duties towards his country. In a civil and human society, each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclinations and abilities. But in a country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color to fulfill both those obligations. As we all know, according to the apartheid rules, no South African person of the colored race can do or perform any duties like any normal citizens. He is not given any rights. So this is why he cannot fulfill his duties either to his family properly nor to his country, because he was not allowed to vote also. So it was not easy for a black or colored person to live a life in South Africa, because he would either be punished or be outcasted in the society. In South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people was inevitably ripped from his family and his home and was forced to live a life apart, a twilight existence of secrecy and rebellion. So that is what a man was destined to live. A man who is not white but has a black skin or a colored skin, a brown skin, is allowed to live a twilight existence of secrecy. Means he has to live a life that has no hope and no meaning, and it was not at all normal. I did not in the beginning choose to place my people above my family, but in attempting to serve my people, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligations as a son, a brother, a father, and a husband. Initially, Nelson Mandela was totally devoted to his family and was fulfilling his one single obligation. But when he decided to put his country over his family, he found that he was prevented from fulfilling his obligations as a son, a brother, a father, and a husband. So he was not allowed to do these double duties, or his twin obligation was not allowed and not given because he was a black. I was not born with a hunger to be free. I was born free. Free in every way that I could know. Now Nelson Mandela here states that everyone is born free, oblivious of whatever things happening around him. A child is ignorant about the restrictions or about the social norms when he is born. So he is born in a free world, unaware about all the critical things happening around. Nelson Mandela narrates some very beautiful and innocent activities of his childhood, indicating that he had all the freedom of the world until he realized that he was black, and when apartheid had hit his nation very strong. As a child, he had all the freedom to do anything he wishes. He can run in the fields near his mother's hut, swim in the clear stream, and run through the village, free to roast mealies under the stars, and even ride the broad backs of slow-moving bulls. Nobody would stop him from doing that. Not even God or his father, unless and until he abides by the laws or the norms of his tribe. So nobody would stop him from doing all these things. He has the full right to enjoy his life. It was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion. Illusion means something that appears to be real but not real. It's not real. It's the opposite. When I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me, that I began to hunger for it. So Nelson Mandela, as a boy, his freedom was limited. He only wanted to have fun, run about, and enjoy. But when he grew up as a young man, he realized then the truth. He actually had no freedom at all, and his freedom was already been taken, and he had very restricted freedom. And it was then he realized that why the apartheid system was a curse to all the South Africans. And then he began to hunger for true freedom. He wanted to fight for it. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself, the transitory freedom of being able to stay out at night. But Nelson Mandela realized that that was only a temporary freedom. It was only gradually that Nelson Mandela finally learned the truth. As a young man in Johannesburg, he yearned for the basic and honorable freedoms of just, getting married and keeping a family. And this was what he yearned for, but that lawful life was not given to him. But then I slowly saw that not only was I not free, but my brothers and sisters were not free. I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did. That is when I joined the African National Congress, and that is when the hunger for my own freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom of my people. Now this paragraph is talking about that time when Nelson Mandela was forced to join the African National Congress. The realization that dawned on him that he had no freedom at all. It was this desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and self-respect that animated my life, that transformed a frightened young man into a bold one, that drove a law-abiding attorney to become a criminal. Here, Nelson Mandela is referring to his transformation from a little boy to a young man, and that man who finally realized his main objectives of life, main aim in life, to get his nation out from apartheid. And he referred here or referred himself as a criminal, which exactly is not the fact that, but then he is trying to talk about going against the system of apartheid at that time would really mark him as a criminal indeed. Thus, this freedom movement has transformed him from a family-loving husband into a man without a home, from a life-loving man to live like a monk. I am no more virtuous or self-sacrificing than the next man. So he's not trying to say that he is doing something extraordinary, because everyone was yearning like what he was yearning at that time. But I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedoms I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. So he started taking this struggle very seriously, and not only fought for the people, but fighting for the people means fighting for himself too. So I knew my people were not free. Freedom is indivisible, and the chains on any one of my people were the chains on all of them, and the chain on all of my people were the chains on me. So he tried to think that if my people are free, it is then that I am free. I knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. The word oppressor here refers to the whites, and the oppressed are the colored or the black race of the African nation. According to Mandela, even the oppressor or the whites, they too need to get their freedom, because they are also, in the bondage of something that is evil. A man who takes away another man's freedom is also a prisoner of hatred. So they are a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. So the whites too were kind of not a free race. They are bounded, or they are totally, imprisoned by some narrow-minded and prejudice. Prejudice means a strong dislike without any good reason. So the whites were, sucked into a whirlpool of hatred, and they are sucked so deep inside it that they're unable to get rid of these strong narrow-mindedness. I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom, just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity. Here Nelson Mandela, ends up the lesson indicating that both the whites and the blacks were not living in a free nation. The blacks were already losing their freedom of not getting their basic human rights, and the oppressor, that are the whites, they too have no freedom from their narrow-mindedness. So children, read the lesson once again and don't forget to write the question and answers in your notebooks. Goodbye.